It's Wrestling Color Podcast, y'all. Make sure y'all thumbs up the video and subscribe. I do have a goal of 300. I would like to hit it sometime next year. I'm on my way, but subscribe if you're interested in what I got going on over here. And make sure you follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Those are the only platforms outside of YouTube that I'm active and doing my thing. If you like what I got going on, hit me in the comments. I always tell y'all to comment. I love y'all discourse. And tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend you hate. Come on over here and listen to what I gotta say. So with that being said, what we talking about today? You see the picture. So I was on Twitter and I came across Fightful, and they had posted an article about Thunder Rosa and how she felt that Ember Moon was not given the platform that she deserved, which was, interesting to me because I actually watched Ember Moon on NXT and beyond. Not when of course, prior to that, I didn't know who the fuck Ember Moon was. So we ain't even gonna sit here and act like we all did, unless you followed her on the indie circuit and over there at Booker T's function that everybody went through. So with that being said, this is what Thunder Rosa had to say on a episode of Busted Open Radio. She said, I worked with Talia before so many times. Because first of all, let me give you context. They asked Thunder Rosa what she thought about all of the evictions that WWE was handing out. And so she said the people that she had dealt with and why she liked it. But the one person she wanted to get her hands on was Ember Moon, and she never had the opportunity. Okay? Now, I quote, I worked with Talia before so many times in Lucha Underground, which, by the way, was an excellent show. It was on Netflix, but it's gone now, so I don't know where it's at. Ember Moon, I have not had the opportunity to work with. She's like one of the Dallas veterans. Texas veterans. And she worked for so long at NXT, I don't think they gave her the platform that she deserved. She's so good. She's so underrated. Hopefully, I'll get the opportunity to work with her. It would be a banger. She's really good. Okay, Ember Moon was released November 4th. With that being said, I had to really sit back and ask myself, did did Ember Moon not get the platform she deserved? Or was it Ember Moon not having the character development that she deserved? And I like to lean more towards the character development Ember Moon did not get. Okay? When you listen to Sasha Banks, when you listen to Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Bailey, um, all those folks down in when they was in Florida before it became the Performance Center. When you listen to all of them, they always talk about character development and how to act in front of the camera. They got the proper training. Okay, Biggie, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, especially now, because back in 2016 and stuff, he was having difficulty, but now he's commanding the stage. John Moxley. We can name a couple people that do great on the mic. We could go back and say The Rock. We could go back and say Stone Cold. We could go back and say Mankind. We go back and say uh, all of these people. Okay, the character is what makes the wrestler. You add the music to it, you are either gonna have a star or you have somebody that's gonna flounder. We saw that with Keith Lee. Okay. With that being said, when we talk about Ember Moon, I asked 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I asked, what the fuck was Ember Moon? That's exactly what I asked. I said, Sheenam, War Goddess, or Werewolf? Who is Ember Moon? I asked that question because she was on my TV all the time, and I had no fucking idea who she was, and neither did the commentators. Okay. So then you fast forward a year later, removed from the 2 years I asked to go. I asked again. Again, I said, give me a simple answer. What is Ember Moon? This was in when she just returned to NXT. What is the fuck she supposed to be? No one answered my questions. Okay? Somebody made a comment under that What is Ember Moon? What is she supposed to be? They said Ember Moon once said in some documentary or something that she values skill, honor, and heart. I think that was when she was starting out in NXT and she was using her old gimmick. In my opinion, they could have developed the character around those values, especially honor. Honor is a very vague idea that gets thrown around a lot and never really qualified, but the NXT writers could have given us what codes of honor Ember follows. How does she interact with people who don't give a shit about honor? Her values are threatened, but unfortunately they didn't do those things and they dropped the moon goddess persona, which was a huge disappointment because it could have been the closest thing to the women's division's got to an Undertaker, Fiend, or even Sting. I think Ember needs to really develop a personality and develop her mic work. Her promos are not very good. It kind of looks like she's trying too hard to be someone she's not. She's trying to adapt Roman Reigns' villain Roman Reigns style when he's giving promos. They're simple and straight to the point and never meaner. I think it would suit Ember well. This was written 11 months ago by Mitchie Rainbow. Thank you. I agree with them totally. That was something that was confusing. With that being said, I'm going to have to disagree with Thunder Rosa. I think Ember Moon was given the platform. Ember Moon was not given the developmental that she deserved. Now, if we look back here, Adrian Reese, her real name, is what she was going, Athena was what she was using in all of her other promotions. But we're going to talk about NXT WWE specifically. Now, when we talk about Thunder Rosa and the platform, here we go. She started out in 2015 and she went under the name Adrian Reese. She beat Peyton Royce. Then she Ember Moon in the introductory of vignettes made her television debut at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2, defeating Billie Kay. Throughout the following months, Ember Moon went on a winning streak both in tag team and single matches until losing the NXT Women's Champion Asuka at NXT TakeOver Orlando on April 1st. Okay? And when you look at that promotional cover for NXT Orlando, the main event match was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Glorious. What is his name? Glorious? I forgot his name. Whatever. Bobby Roode. Okay? Man, those were the days. Those were the days. Woo! Anyway, in May, Moon sustained a shoulder injury after being thrown out of the ring by Asuka and could not compete in the fatal four-way match for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Chicago. And that main event was Bobby Roode and Hideo Tanami. And the main event of the women's was Ruby Riott and who we now know, Nikki Ash, but she was uh crazy Nikki at that time. Anyway, Nikki Cross. Moon returned June 21st episode of NXT and defeated Peyton Royce. On August 19th at TakeOver Brooklyn 3, she was once again defeated by Asuka. In August, Asuka had to vacate the NXT Women's Champion during the during injury. On November 18th, Moon won the vacant NXT Women's Championship in a fatal four-way match, defeating Royce, Nikki Cross, and Kairi Sane. Asuka made a surprise appearance and handed it to Moon. On December 27th episode of NXT, Moon successfully defended her title against Sonya Deville. After the match, Moon was confronted by Kairi Sane, who was then attacked by debuting Shayna Baszler. At NXT TakeOver Philadelphia, if y'all want a blast from the past, this is the Philadelphia card. It was Johnny Gargano with Andrade Cien Almas, fucking Adam Cole versus Aleister Black, fucking Shayna Baszler versus Ember Moon, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly versus what is that group called? Ankin and Razor, and they had old boy was their valet. And then they took him away when they went up to the main roster, and we already know AOP gone. Anyway, Moon retained her title against Baszler despite suffering an arm injury, which was fake. The following night, she competed in the first women's Royal Rumble match in the 2018 Royal Rumble. She entered at number 23, was eliminated by Asuka, and Asuka ended up winning. NXT TakeOver New Orleans, Moon lost the NXT Championship to Baszler in a technical submission. Now, this is we got Ember Moon. You know, the flames start the fire. Ember burns the flames. And she now, here she comes on the main roster in 2018. 2018 episode of Raw, immediately after WrestleMania 34, Moon made her official main roster debut with the Raw Women's Champion Nia Jax to defeat Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. At Money in the Bank, she participated in the Money in the Bank ladder match, but failed to win the briefcase. At the WWE Women's Evolution, she wrestled in the Battle Royale and was to participate, eliminated by Nia Jax. At 2019 Royal Rumble event, Ember Moon competed in the Women's Royal Rumble match, entering at number 6, lasted 52 minutes before being eliminated by Alexa Bliss. During the match, she suffered an injury elbow requiring surgery, keeping her out of action. She then returned at WrestleMania 35 in the Women's Battle Royale, which she was eliminated by Lana. 2019 WWE Superstar Shakeup. Oh, by the way, that Battle Royale was won by Naomi. During the 2019 Superstar Shakeup, Moon was moved to SmackDown. In June, she competed in her second Money in the Bank ladder match, but was unsuccessful. Through June and July, Moon feuded with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, who bullied her. After losing single matches to both Deville and Rose on June 25th and July 2nd on SmackDown, Moon teamed up with SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley to defeat Rose and Deville on the July 16th episode, ending the feud. After the match, Bayley picked Moon as her challenger for SummerSlam. However, Moon lost the match, started a losing streak, going winless in 5 straight television matches. Moon would then suffer ankle injury, and she was not in either of the draft pools for the 2019 draft in October. She appeared on the November 19th episode of Backstage as an analyst, and she stated she would be out of action for a definite period of time. Remember, she said her ACL or something was ripped off the bone. Okay, this is where Ember Moon was destroyed. Her 2 years on the main roster. That's where she was destroyed. Especially that feud with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville that pissed me off. Because if you remember, at one point Ember Moon was backstage reading a book. They walked up to her. Mandy Rose handed her one of the men's magazines that she had posted on. She had handed her one of the men magazines she posed on, called her ugly, and then ripped the book in half. And then Ember got upset and ripped Mandy's magazine in half. Proceeded to lose a match. Then the next episode, Ember's back there playing a fucking Switch. Sonya takes the Switch, breaks it over her knee. Ember Moon's visibly upset and frazzled. They basically call her dorky, ugly nerd. She went out there and lost the match. This is the same woman that y'all was saying is a fucking she-nom goddess when you have Michael Cole and them on commentary. But she's backstage being a bullied dork and she's ugly. That's what WWE put on Ember Moon for us to take her seriously. Or understand what the fuck her character was. Because she would come out, holler at the moon, and leave. I've got to see Ember Moon live. And I'm going to tell you something. There was a point we went to Raw in 2018. Ember Moon performed, and everybody was cheering for her. They were screaming her name. She looked over at the section I was in, and the look on her face was, "Why the fuck y'all cheering for me?" Like a fucking weirdo. But that's another situation for another day. So then we go to NXT and her return in 2020. She only spent a year there. So in September 2020, vignettes advertised a mysterious figure on a motorcycle appeared on NXT in the consecutive weeks. The mysterious figure took off her helmet, and it turned out to be Ember Moon, who made her return at NXT TakeOver 31. She appeared following Io Shirai's successful defense of the NXT Women's Championship against Candice LeRae. Staring at the champion while also smiling at her. On November 28th, 2020, Ember would join Team Shotzi. Well, now Shotzi Blackheart. From there on, Moon would be teaming with Blackheart and compete in the first ever Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, where they lost to Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez in the finals. On the March 10th episode, Moon and Blackheart challenged Kai and Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championships, successfully defeating them and winning the tag team titles. At NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, they successfully retained the titles against The Way, which was Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. On the May 4th episode of NXT, Blackheart and Moon dropped the titles to the Way in a street fight, ending their reign at 55 days. At NXT TakeOver In Your House, Moon challenged Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Champion, but was defeated. On an episode of NXT, Ember Moon was defeated by Kaylee Ray, and that was a damn good match, by the way. And then on November 4th, she was released from WWE. Okay. So when we talk about what Thunder Rosa said as in terms of the platform, she was given a platform, but when she went to the main roster, they made a fool out of her because Vince and them didn't know what the fuck she was, and neither did we. So here's an article from 2016. I think it's important that we touch on this. Ember Moon, they asked, what's the meaning behind her name? Okay, she spoke with the Miami Herald. And she said, Ember is the last thing that comes with the flame. It's the part that is so hard to die down, that can combust at any moment. The moon is so cool. It changes faces all the time. So basically, my name means something that is undying and ever changing. What the fuck kind of character is that? Go to another article. Ember Moon is inspired by a D&D character, which is Dungeons and Dragons, okay? So, Ember Moon revealed which character her in-ring persona is partly based on. Drizzt Do'Urden, the Dow Ranger known for the still-running series Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, that's an old-ass series, y'all. She said, I'm a big fan of Drizzt's books from R.A. Salvatore. Drizzt is one of my favorite characters and low-key inspires Ember Moon, the wrestling character. I don't say it a lot, but I love it. Maybe Ember Moon should have said it. She should have said it. Drizzt is her character. Because I don't first of all, I don't fucking deal with Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't deal with it in the 80s, and I don't deal with it fucking now. So if you tell me something about some Drizzt, Moon is certainly not alone in her love for Drizzt. He is in fact one of Dungeons and Dragons' most popular characters. Although Drow, or Dark Elves, had already been popular beforehand, the introduction of Drizzt's character further pushed the creation of Dark Elf characters in mainstream play. Moon had taken part in this year's Dungeons and Dragons live event along with Dungeons and Dragons lead rules designer Jeremy Crawford and some other superstars from WWE. She expressed her particular excitement over the fact that her session was set in Icewind Dale, the region wherein Drizzt and his companions started their adventures. So let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. So in 2019, there was an article written, "Who is Ember Moon?" This is on SB Nation. Okay. Everyone is explaining all types of characters that we know. Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Mankind, China. Okay, we could go on and on about all these characters that we know, and we could pull their names out and know exactly who the fuck they are. Okay? The problem with Ember Moon. Through my years as a fan, I've ranted with delirious energy to my fans. I try to explain my favorite characters to friends regardless of their apathy. Imagine if Takashi Mikey remade Thriller. There's this guy who was doing a Vanilla Ice impression who I think might have something about him. Which brings me finally to the topic of this post. Ember Moon. Knowing how important characters are to the world of wrestling, Ember makes me worried. I find it impossible to describe who she is in a sentence or two. I couldn't tell you why you should care. There you go. I could stop right there, but we're gonna keep going. On paper, Ember Moon ticks a lot of the boxes. She's athletic and tough. She sells with beauty and has an awe-inspiring finishing move, best in the business. The Eclipse is the best fucking move you could do. And any female in wrestling, don't call Ember and say, "Can I take that Eclipse?" is a clown. Anyway, she's not exactly aesthetically appealing either. Unappealing. In NXT, Moon was Shayna Baszler's great opponent to date, the David versus the Goliath. The feud christened the former MMA fighter as the most cold-hearted combatant in all of WWE. Not now, but anyway. Yet, despite all of her positive attributes, Moon is still lacking as a performer. At this point, 3 years into the NXT WWE run, I have no idea who Ember Moon is as a character. I don't know what her inspiration is, her background, why she fights, or what causes her to fight. Neither the fuck do I. That's the crazy part. I don't know. You know how they, like, for instance, Lacey Evans. Although she came out talking about how she get what she want with what she got in her southern, I'm a southern belle. Lacey Evans is a Marine. Everybody's like, well, why didn't y'all just go off of that? And Lacey Evans could literally be Sonya Blade in the WWE for all the fuck we care. But we at least know Lacey Evans is a southern belle who is stuck in the 1940s pinup girl persona, and that's who Lacey Evans is. See what I'm saying? We got a background. We know something about Lacey Evans. We don't know shit about Ember Moon, where she came from, how she wrestled, why she started wrestling, who her parents is she adopted. You could go to Seth Rollins. He has a whole who Seth Rollins. He started wrestling in Iowa. He's a stepfather last name. He was flipping into this. He went into independent wrestling. You got Big E. Big E's background excellent. He was a football player. He ended up in wrestling. He's a big guy. Whoop de whoop de whoop. I mean, all of these people. Sasha Banks. She was poor. She wanted to wrestle. Whoop de whoop de whoop. Okay, they got pictures with old wrestlers that we, Bret Hart and Stone Cold and all these wrestlers, and then they end up wrestling the wrestlers, and it's so fucking cool. What the fuck does Ember Moon? Who the fuck does Ember Moon got to do? Who knows? Who the fuck is Adrian Reese? I know Seth Rollins' real name is Kobe Lopez. How many people know Ember Moon's real name is Adrian Reese, and this is her life? Nobody don't, and WWE never took the time to tell you. When the Undertaker debuted all those years ago, we knew from off that he was a supernatural force. They're going. I know where they're going with this. They called her the She-Nom. They call her a werewolf. If you were going to use those terms, Ember Moon could have literally came out there biting motherfuckers in the neck, howling at the moon, down to the catering, jumping on motherfuckers' heads, kicking them in the ass, biting their ass, whatever. She could have had an Undertaker-esque run. Okay? With Ember Moon, it's not as easy to draw these distinctions. It's not clear if Ember Moon falls in the same category as Undertaker. When we watch her, we are witnessing an abstraction of violence in a material form. Is Moon a vampire warrior separate from humans she competes with, or is she much mortal than that? We're not sure how literally we're supposed to take Moon's character. Is her vampire getup the work of a cosplay geek? On SmackDown, recently seen Ember Moon as a reader and a gamer. Thank you. Outside of the WWE canon, we know she plays Dungeons and Dragons. So there would be cues that the character and the performer overlap. Is the Moon Girl next door you will see in fancy dress at Comic-Con? We don't know. We're not sure because no answers come from the hours of storytelling WWE pumps out each week. Yet for Moon to flourish, viewers will have to know who she is. I want to know if her hopes and dreams match mine. Or am I witnessing a terrifying and beastly entity from another planet. I should watch with awe and fear. Thank you. If y'all was gonna make her a damn geek playing video games and reading books, that's what y'all should have changed her when you took her to the main roster. But how is she being beat up by Sonya Deville and Mandy Rhodes? Sonya Deville and Mandy. How is she getting her ass whooped and going to the ring like a monster? Made no fucking sense and no one cared. So let's leave it at this because I like what they said here. Other wrestlers in Moon's division do not have the same character-based handicap. Alexa Bliss succeeds because it's obvious she's an obnoxious and manipulative crybaby. We can't wait to see her get her comeuppance. Charlotte is the jock we despise because she can back up her abrasive words with gusto. Bayley is the superfan who reminds us how we felt falling in love with pro wrestling as a child. She took that feeling, embodied it, and never let it go. Well, now she's an awesome heel and a complete bitch, and it works fine for her. Ember Moon then is a performer I respect. Her athletic prowess is a joy to behold, but at the moment I find it impossible to care in the way I hope I would. Ember Moon and WWE's writers and producers can still get this right. I want to care, I want to believe. If they can show us a little bit of Ember Moon's heart and soul, we could have a very super talent on our hands. I want to know what she fights for, and I hope she can make me want to fight for that too. Ember Moon is released on November 4th, 2021. The same issue she had when she came into the WWE in 2015 lasted her whole entire run, and no fault of her own. So Thunder Rosa, what you said was cute, but it was wrong. She was given the platform she deserved. She just wasn't given the character development. She wasn't given the time. She wasn't given the love. She damn sure wasn't given the look that she deserved as a performer to get that character, whatever the fuck she was supposed to be over. Tell me what y'all think in the comments, and I'll hit you up next time.